What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got a lot to talk about, some more Age of Triumph news and info and trailers. And on top of that, we're also going to be going over Bungie's reaction to the Destiny 2 leaks that happened yesterday. If for some reason you missed it, we covered it in yesterday's video, but today we've got a lot to talk about. So firstly, let's go over a little bit about Destiny 2 and what Bungie's actual reaction or response has been to the internet, basically blowing up about their game. Obviously, a lot of people are wondering if they would reveal it themselves after the leak, or if Bungie would acknowledge it. So let's see what's been said. So Luke Smith, who is actually the lead director for Destiny 2, simply tweeted out this GIF, which is obviously being very disappointed, which is understandable. I mean, the game has been directing for years now, and waiting to reveal has just been leaked by some random Italian retailer. So you can imagine some people are definitely getting fired and sued after this, and obviously it's all pretty crazy at the moment. So the Bungie Twitter account and also Deon himself also indirectly responded to the leaks, and obviously the internet was exploding about Destiny 2. It was trending worldwide on Twitter, and they probably got thousands of questions asking if they were going to reveal it or what their response is now it's been leaked. So the official Bungie Twitter account tweeted saying, "Your adventures up to this moment deserve to be celebrated before we move on to new worlds." So obviously saying, let's just celebrate the actual Age of Triumph event right now and then move on to next worlds. And then Deej said some pretty similar things. He said, working on the This Week at Bungie, the blog post, and obviously at this point everyone was asking him about Destiny 2, and he said the sole focus will be unfinished business with Age of Triumph, questions to answer and content to deploy, essentially saying don't expect any Destiny 2 news in this blog post. And then when he actually put the blog post up, he said, as promised, I'm laser focused on getting the new record book in your hands. That's the next milestone. Until that promise is kept, ... So essentially saying, right now we're just going to focus on getting you Age of Triumph and actually putting the record book in your hands. After that, then of course we're going to talk about Destiny 2. So that's basically Bungie's response on Twitter. And then in the actual blog post was the most interesting part. And Deej said, after basically like a load of info about Age of Triumph, which we'll talk about later, he then said, you're expecting something else. One milestone at a time at Guardian. So essentially saying, if you're expecting Destiny 2, once again, one thing at a time. Once Age of Triumph is done, then they're going to talk about Destiny 2. So I would expect probably mid to late April, maybe May. That is when they're going to start announcing it and revealing it. But of course, right now they're just focusing on the last and final live event for Destiny 1. Then after that has calmed down a bit and the dust has settled, then they'll kick into gear with Destiny 2 and the reveals and the hype trains, and of course E3 soon after that. So right now, Bungie is focused on Age of Triumph. So speaking of which, let's talk a bit more about that event and some of the cool stuff they've showed off. We've got a bunch of new info, new websites, new trailers, a bunch of new images showing off all the new gear. So looking at the trailer in the background, you can see some of the stuff in action, some of the raid weapons and elemental primaries and exotics, all that kind of stuff, and the ornaments as well. But we can take a closer look at these images, which are from Activision. So you can see all 4 of the raids have all 4 primaries as exotic versions with elemental damage. So technically 16 new exotic weapons in this update that are all of course from the raids. You can see Vault of Glass weapons have that gold and silver theme. The Crota's End guns have that dark blue theme, almost like the King's Fall Harrowed weapons. The King's Fall weapons have this now dark pink red color, and of course the Wrath of the Machine are now dark kind of glossy red as well. You can also see some of the Vault of Glass armor sets, both of them in fact. Now one of them of course is the original set but just tinted blue, and one of them is that really cool ornamented gear set with like robotic limbs. Now I can't exactly tell if the normal set that's always going to drop for you in this new 390 version is going to be the bronze set and both these are ornaments, or if this blue set is the new normal set, and then you can transform that to make it look like the Vex prosthetic leg with the ornaments. So not sure if you can still get the original classic bronze theme, but this for now is a really good look at some of the new Vault armor. So there is also of course the Crota's End gear, which has got to be my personal favorite, with that crazy like exaggerated over the top green themes, the horns and the crazy lighting. There's also the King's Fall gear set, which I do think is quite cool at the same time. And then Wrath of the Machine, which I think is okay, not a massive fan of personally, but I think the others are definitely more over the top. And then of course we also have some of those missing loot items. Bungie went through and kind of filled in some of those missing gaps of loot that wasn't previously in the old raids. So Vault of Glass now has a ghost shell, as you can see right now, called the Templar shell. There is the Ascendant shell from Crota's End. There is the King's Fall Sparrow, and I'm assuming there's also going to be a Wrath of the Machine Sparrow too as well. But these are some of the missing loot items. So let's talk some more about some of the info we got from the weekly blog post. This one coming from Josh Hamrick, who actually said, we're going to be getting weekly resets on the perks on vendor weapons. So Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy, Vanguard, Crucible, all those guns in the tower, the actual perk rolls on those weapons and armor are all going to be changing every single weekly reset, which is pretty crazy and definitely a nice way to send off the game. And every now and again, there should be some pretty nice god rolls, but definitely also make sure in this last week, if you haven't already grabbed the Palindrome for whatever reason, make sure you grab the Palindrome from the Crucible. It's obviously one of the best hand cannons in the game right now with the range. So definitely go and grab that thing or any other weapons you maybe hadn't got around to getting yet. because of course every week they will now be changing in terms of their perk rolls, and should be pretty good. Hopefully there's some really nice god rolls that pop up every other week or so. So next up, the Necrochasm is also getting its own new quest, which they clarified on the blog post. It's going to be probably something simple in my eyes. I mean, recently Bungie with their exotic quests have always been very easy and pretty simple, especially for casual new players who don't really have the time to sink in so much time and effort to getting some weapons. So it's probably going to be quite an easy quest. Don't expect something really long and difficult. I'd imagine something on the similar lines to the recent quests like the Abaddon and Nova Mortis. A lot of people are asking if it's worth keeping the Husk of the Pit or Crux of Crota if you have them, or going out and farming them. I wouldn't recommend farming them. It's probably not going to have any use. It's highly unlikely in my opinion. I mean, if you have them, obviously don't delete them, but I wouldn't really bother going out and farming them because they're probably going to make you do all new stuff, and that will end up with the Year 3 version of the Necrochasm. There's also some other important details about the event going live on Tuesday and also the patch 2.6.0. So the event goes live on Tuesday, but the timing is 10 AM Pacific, so the usual time when everything goes live pretty much. That is when the event actually goes live, but of course the reset will be earlier, 2 AM Pacific time. So they said not to play any of the weekly activities between the reset and the actual event going live on the Tuesday. So on the day it goes live between the 2 AM and 10 AM reset and the event going live, do not play any of the weekly activities, the Nightfalls, weekly strikes, or the playlist, stuff like that. Don't play them because you might mess up your rewards and you'll earn them already on the old loot system and be unable to get the new stuff like the Blue Flames or the new Treasure of the Ages packages when the event goes live. So just wait until the event goes live and then do your activities. Otherwise, you'll be stuck with old stuff for the entire week until the next reset. So they also gave us a very quick preview of some of the things to expect in the patch notes, which of course we'll get the full notes on Tuesday when the update goes live. But they did say they fixed a few things, namely the Sunsinger self-res glitch, and also the Infinite Hammer glitch or Blade Dancer glitch you can do with a Sparrow in like PvE. And of course, when it goes live, I'll have a video detailing all the patch notes and important changes to the game, in addition to a bunch of other Age of Triumph content. So make sure you have notifications turned on, and I'll subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out my future videos. If you enjoyed this video, a like rating would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys next one.